first NFL mock draft, first round. We're going to bring that to you tonight. I'm Dante Street, and with me is Dax Martinez. What's up, my man? You ready to get into it?
Hey, yeah, I love me some draft season, and it's come by quick. We're 2 days away from the draft. I mean, it is going down. So, what better than to do our own little mock draft to get things rolling?
Absolutely. We're going to get started with the first round. What we are using is profootballnetwork.com. That's what we're using for our mock draft. Tennessee Titans, I think everybody knows Cam Ward is going to be the dude there. And he is,
I think it's locked in.
yeah, that's, they didn't, I don't think Tennessee didn't interview anybody else. They actually turned away Shador very respectfully, from what I understand. But
So what are your thoughts? Are
my
you
take on,
convinced he's the franchise guy?
I'm, I'm not 100% sold on that. I think it could be a little Jamarcus Russell in there. But I think,
Ooh, ooh, low
but,
blow, low blow,
well,
man.
I think this, like, he's not going to sit in that pocket like he did at Miami. You know what I mean? And just sit comfortably back there and throw. Now he can make
No,
plays on the
look,
move.
he had some times against lesser defenses where he had good length of time to throw the ball.
Yeah,
But he's a cool customer. He's a cool customer in that pocket. Even when he did have pressure in his face, he really would avoid the rush. Never panicked. You rarely saw him, panic and make a mistake. So um, I like Cam Ward. I don't know if he'll be, the next big thing, like Jaden Daniels, but I definitely think he can be a starter in the league for sure.
well,
And when you're
he's going to be a
Tennessee, I
starter,
think he
right?
can solidify the position.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt he's going to be a starter. They're drafting him at one. That's not a that's a no brainer.
No, I
But
mean,
what I'm,
I mean a 10-year starter in the league.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think they're going to have to get him some weapons as well. So they're going to have to get a little bit
Yeah,
deeper in that draft. So I think you're going to have to draft around him as well. Like, there's not really like a stud that's just sitting over there at Tennessee to throw the ball to. So we'll see what happens. There's not really
why are
like
you hating on
anything
Calvin
but
Ridley, man?
I'm not hating on Calvin Ridley, but
I'm
there's going to
kidding.
need a
I'm
lot more
kidding.
than that. You know what I mean? And
Oh, for sure,
I
for
think what
sure.
Callahan wants to do out there is they want to, he's going to get them right, but they want to run the ball. You know what I mean? They want to
Yeah,
probably get off on that play action. So I think when you're able to kind of do that, that fits right into the scheme of Cam Ward and how I've always said there's no doubt in any mind that every NFL player that gets drafted in the NFL is a phenomenal athlete. That's hands down. So it's just got the right scheme. But Cam Ward number one, Browns, you're on the clock. Dax, who do you got?
um, you know the GM of the Browns, he's been showing his love and admiration for one particular player. Now, I think there's two. I think obviously everyone would say there's probably two blue chip prospects in this draft. I think we can all agree upon that. That being Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter. So when I'm looking at this Browns team, they need a lot of talent. Why not get a guy that could potentially be a lockdown cornerback or a number one receiver in the NFL? Let's go with Travis Hunter.
So
I think it's pretty well known that they're interested in this young man.
yeah, I mean, my thoughts with that is if you're not going to play him both ways, then I would not draft him. Like I think you have to draft him in knowing that you are going to play him both ways. I think he's not a one like a 1A, you know what I mean, but he's like a 1B dude, you know what I mean, in regards to like your receiver standpoint and also at corner. Now, you're probably
I
going to
think
have to be
got
a little
he's
flexible with
got the
him.
goods at receiver.
Well, I think they're drafting him as a wide receiver, but I think they're gonna be flexible. You can maybe line him up inside, get him on some snaps outside as well, but you're not going to be able to. He's it's just too much, I think, in the NFL to go both ways. 114 snaps in a game, like that's just not going to happen. Like I just think that's too much. I would see it probably reduced down to if he's going to get, let's say, maybe 45 to 50 snaps on defense, and I think, well, excuse me, I'd say probably anywhere between
He would
35, 40 snaps maybe on offense. And then I think you're going to also get maybe a good 20, maybe 20 snaps out of him on the defensive side.
Well, I
But
mean, they still got Denzel Ward back there. So solid corner.
yeah,
Jerry
1B.
Judy on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Um, look, they can use the help both sides,
Yeah.
obviously.
What again, 1B. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's the one. One B, like he's not your start, he's not your ace, you know what I mean? But he's gonna be an
I'll tell you
impact
this: if I'm
player.
taking Travis Hunter number two, I want him to be the face of my franchise until we get that quarterback in town.
Which I think that happens. I think that does. All right, so Browns, Travis Hunter, New York Giants. You guys are on the clock. I think New York Giants. You got to take the best player available to you. I know
Shador
the need here is
Sanders.
quarterback. Uh,
I'm
I think
kidding.
the need's quarterback for sure. The need is quarterback, but I think you're gonna have with the quarterbacks you just signed. I think you're gonna wait on that. So I'm gonna go with Abdul Carter because he's gonna come in right away and help that D line right away. And
Yeah, I mean, look, we just got done saying there's two blue chip prospects in this draft. Abdul Carter being the other one, the other one after Travis Hunter. So I think it's a no-brainer pick.
yeah, and I mean he's gonna come in and help that D line right away. And you got to the NFL's about these things. Well, I'd say these three things really. You got to have a quarterback. You got to have somebody to protect the quarterback, and then you got to have somebody to go get the quarterback. You know what I mean? So I think that's the focus point. And when you start looking at the NFC East, you know, you got Jaden Daniels, you got Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? You're gonna have a guy that can actually go get after, chase these dudes down. So Giants,
I think he would really
Abdul
add to that
Carter.
defense. He would really add to that defensive line, make him um, a strong unit in that NFC East, which you're going to have the defending champs in there. So you need as much ammunition on defense side of the ball as you can get.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. I would say the Patriots are up on the clock. Where are the Patriots going, Dex?
Man, the Patriots got quite a few directions they could go. You know, obviously they would love to see one of the big two prospects fall into their lap, but I think that's out of the question at this point. Trade down is a possibility, um, but the question would be, I mean, is a team willing to move up to grab one of these quarterbacks? One of these tackles. Who knows? I don't. That might be a little too rich. Um, Ultimately, I think that they do hang on to the pick. A couple directions they could go. Um, Obviously, the young receiver McMillan out of Arizona might be a little too high. They did sign Stephon Diggs in the offseason. So I look at it like this: you just invested a first round pick in your quarterback of the future in Drake May. I think it's time to protect him. We saw him get beat up last year, um, and you can't have that. You can't have that in a young quarterback. Give me the lineman, Michigan, Will Campbell.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense for me. And when I look at the Patriots, you got to protect the franchise, right? Like you got to
Yeah.
protect him. So, and Drake May is making good plays. You know what I mean? When he's protected, I mean, I think a good amount of his plays are out of the pocket when he's scrambling, but they were. I mean, that offensive line was so beat up last year. I mean, they were on
Oh yeah,
third
it was
stringers,
and
fourth
it,
stringers,
at the end of
bringing
the year.
dudes off the practice squad were getting hurt.
Yeah, and you can't have your franchise guy getting roughed up like that.
Yeah, so
You
I
you have
think
another David
that's a
Carr
very
situation
good
on your
safe
hands.
pick. Yeah, so I have a little bit of theft happening right here on for the Jaguars. We're up at number five. Um,
Well, this
I
is when
see
the
some
draft
theft
really
happening.
opens up here.
I think this is where I think. Yep, I'm going to do it. Jaguars take Ashton Genty with the fifth overall pick, and I think that's a good fit for them. That ETN I don't think is really giving them what they need. Tank, sure, you know what I mean, but are you getting that every week out of Tank? And I think Genty's just too good of a player to pass up on the board, especially when you've already kind of depleted a little bit of that offense out there, anyways. And you got Brad
Well,
Thomas to match with that as well.
well, the problem I have with that selection for the Jags is we're talking about franchise quarterbacks. I mean, how many more times is Trevor Lawrence going to take a beating? Um, you know, you're
Yeah,
looking at Membo, the tackle looking at you. The defense had a lot of holes. Um, you got the young man Walker out of Georgia. Um, I don't know. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and very well could happen. I think the Jags are going to be listening to taking a lot of phone calls when their pick comes around, and
absolutely. The
um,
phone line's got to be open.
oh
The
yeah,
phone
for
line.
sure. May have somebody
I
try to jump in there.
I think after three, the phone lines open up.
Um, I think they go defense personally, but okay, I'm not mad at it.
Well, the pick is in, so they're going Genty, and he's going to be running up and down the damn field. I love it.
I will say this: he better be a steal or a home run pick at running back for this franchise because they just went through Trevor Etienne in the first round. Did not, or excuse me, Travis Etienne did not work out.
Yeah, that's why I think they go there. Raiders on the clock. Where are we going?
Give me my Oakland, Las Vegas, LA Raiders, huh? Mm. They have quite a few needs on this team. Um, I think that Carroll is hoping that the potential dynamic running back falls into their lap. But this team has been known to throw some curveballs come draft time, and they have a lot of holes in the secondary. Obviously, Shador Sanders on the board. Do they want to take the quarterback of the future? McMillan, the receiver, uh, could be a nice addition to Bowers and Myers and company. But you know what? I look at this team. I see uh, I see some question marks on the right side of their line. You're looking at a year two tackle in DJ Glaze. He did show some flashes last year. I don't know if they're ready to commit to that. They signed free agent Alex Kappa to play guard. Not exciting about that. Um, I'm going tackle Membo. I
I would
think
hope so because if you
I
went
think
any
he can
longer there, you
solidify the
might have
line.
lost the pick. If you went any longer there, you might have lost the pick, and the Jets might have just moved right in front of you and took Membo. But
I just
I
think that
think
you need to
Membo's
solidify that
a
line.
good way to go. Yeah, I think Pete Carroll's going to go up there and solidify that line for sure. Like he's going to protect Gino. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to just not do that. I think you have to. Jets on the clock. Uh, I think Jets go after a playmaker right here, and I see Shador still to fall. So I think the Jets go with Jalen Walker, and I think they're just going to keep
Oh, your
building the
playmaker on the
defense.
defensive side of the ball, huh?
You got a defensive head coach, right? So if you got
Um,
Aaron Glenn as the head coach, he's
yeah.
going to start shopping for groceries. You want him to cook the meal, right? As Bill Parcells once said, if you want me to cook
Hmm.
the meal, you got to let me shop for the groceries. So I think he's going to come out. He wants his Aiden Hutchinson type of dude out there. I mean, that D line is already somewhat nasty as it is, anyways. But with,
Yeah.
you know, with what they got in the middle, and you put him outside, because you can't double everybody. So that either does one of the two things. You got to either bring somebody inside, I mean, a tight end or a running back's got a chip, because you're going to have to double inside with Big Q. So, yeah, give me Jalen Walker for the Jets. I like that right there for them.
Interesting. Interesting. I think the Jets can go a variety of ways, but I like the player though. I'll tell you what, Jalen Walker. Um, Georgia can produce. All right, so
They
we're looking
usually
at
do. So, Panthers
look,
on the clock.
looking at the Carolina Panthers. Well, I think when we look at this Panthers team, um, I think the topic of discussion has to be um, did Bryce Young finally turn that corner? I think he played well. Second half of about the final month of the year, final 2 months of the year, looked good. Looked like a number one draft pick out there. So I think that if he's solidified himself as the guy, which looks like he could finally be coming to his own. Let's keep supplying him with some weapons. Let's keep supplying this kid with some weapons. Um, I know they took a receiver in Leggett last year in the first round, but I think that I'm going to go with the tight end, Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Um, Look, tight ends are your quarterback's best friend. They don't got a lot of competition on that roster. So, yeah, give me Tyler Warren to the Panthers.
That's a good fit for them. They definitely need more weapons for Bryce Young for sure. Um, Now here's an interesting pick at number 9 with the Saints. Saints are on the clock. I I mean, I think it's a great fit for Shador, but I don't know if I see that happening right now. I think I see them going into ooh,
Now, mind you, Saints have no quarterback
they
unless
do
you're a
have no
Spencer Rattler
quarterback.
fan.
Very big. Ever since the Netflix series. No,
Okay,
absolutely not. I
it's a
can't
bold
stand that
take.
kid, to be honest with you. Could not stand that kid on you, to be honest with you. Not at all. Um, I get you have no quarterback. I truly do. But God, does that defense just get lit? Was just getting lit up last year. I mean,
Well, it's a
it's
gamble here. You pass, it's a gamble.
I yeah, I think you're gonna have. I mean, I'm gonna go. I think the Saints. Whew, you know what? I'm just gonna say Shador. I think he's gonna slip. I think he could even go further because, to be honest with you, where I wanted to go right there was Shamar Stewart.
Look, I get what you're saying. There's a lot of defensive talent available. But man, if you're the Saints, you got to get something in there at that quarterback position. You know, it'd be tough to pass on Sanders, I would think, and they'd really be gambling on if they can get one of these, lesser quarterbacks in the end of the first or second. So I agree with the pick. Who we got next? The Bears.
Bears are on the clock. Bears are on the clock.
Well, this would be an interesting spot for the Bears. The way this lined up. Um, Obviously, I think the Bears hoping they can get a running back like Genty in there, run that rock in the Windy City. But in this scenario, that didn't happen. So if I'm the Bears and I'm looking at that board and I see a potential top five talent in Mason Graham on the board, I'm plugging him in the middle of my defense,
Yeah, I think so
letting it
too.
roll.
I and I think honestly, right there, Mason Graham may not have got past the Saints, but the pick for the Bears, Mason Graham, I like it. I don't think you go wrong there. Um, I
No,
would say I do like. I
no. Listen, Mason Graham's a little undersized, but he can still get after it.
Oh no, he's a dude.
Oh yeah.
He's a, a literally to the sense a Wolverine. Like, and I don't mean just that as a Michigan Wolverine, but like as the actual animal. Um, I Niners are on
Oh,
the clock.
the San Francisco
Obviously,
Santa
to
Clara
set tone as
49ers.
a
What we
Niner
got?
fan, I think here's my surprise with the Niners, and so I think the Niners take Kelvin Banks, tackle out of Texas,
Ooh,
and
ooh.
I think the reason for that is if you're getting ready to put all this money into Brock Purdy, I think you
Mm.
also need to protect him a little bit more, and I also think that you're going to have to work on, um, Big Trent's replacement at some point because
Ooh.
he is staring at the pasture. But what I
Niner fans, how
would
you feeling
Shamar
about that?
would Shamar Stewart make a lot more sense there? Probably.
I mean, hey, we know
So
the Niners like to draft D line.
we do, and I think that's I would not be surprised if I seen a Shamar Stewart there, but I think when you again the recipe for success, obviously the Super Bowl champion, the Eagles, they're big up front, and I think you got to
For sure.
continue to build up front
And you're deep,
because
and you rotate those bodies in there, man. That's the way.
yeah, and if you can't protect the quarterback, there's not a lot you can do, and you just got rid of you know who knows what's going to
Well,
happen with
hey, I
Ayuk.
guess you're saying that Purdy's the guy.
They're getting ready to pay him, so if they're getting ready to pay him, he better well be the guy. But
He better
anyways,
be. He better be.
off to Jerry World, Dallas on the clock. Where are we going?
Oh, Jerry World. Now look, they need some. They obviously need a running back, but I think it's a little too rich for them. Um, Man, if I'm the Cowboys and I'm looking at CD Lamb and company out there on an island, really be as the only talent in that passing game, and I see Ted McMillan there sitting at the 12th pick, I can't pass on that. I can't pass on that. I think that's the number two receiver they've been waiting for. Give me T Mac from Arizona, big body receiver. A little bit of Mike Evans, Drake London to his game. I think he'd complement CeeDee Lamb really nice.
Yeah, long, you know, good separation. Watching his tape, good hands. I mean, off the field things, that's. I think that
Well, I think that's why
that's
he's available at 12 because he said some stuff in the past that might come back to haunt him. But the talent's there for sure.
yeah, and I think say what you will about Dak, but if it's like if he hears like, hey, this dude's got a problem in the film room, I think you got players like a CD Lamb and you got players like a Dak that can take him under their wing and like,
Yeah.
look, this is what you do in the NFL. This is how you go about that. So I think there's going to be a change of attitude very quickly there, and I think he's a great compliment to CD out there as well because
Well,
CD
Dak
definitely
Prescott, that'd
needs
be
some help.
Dak. He would love that pick.
Oh, absolutely. Um, so the
Off to
Dolphins are on the
Miami.
clock. Dolphins are on the clock as much as Tua needs to get some more protection.
Whew, to say the
I
least,
mean,
man.
but I think they can just give him a bigger helmet, so I think they'll be all right there. But I see Will Johnson or Jaden, or excuse me, Jade Barron. Am I correct?
Jade Barron, yeah,
Yeah,
cornerback.
yeah. So I think they take a kid out of Texas right here, and let's make him a Dolphin. So I mean, long body, and I think Miami's going to need some help. I think honestly, I think Ramsey gets shopped during this draft. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Ramsey go. I don't think it'll be for a first, but I think he could go
Well, they've already
and
talked
be
these on the
traded on day
block.
one.
They've said
Yeah,
they're going to work a trade for him. So um, I would yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens during this draft weekend.
yeah,
And
for sure.
Barron, I like that. I like that. Barron to the Dolphins. Another good young corner for them.
Colts, what do they need? They're on the clock.
Colts. Well, the question with the Colts is Anthony Richardson the guy? And we don't know yet. I don't think we know
I
yet.
I I think you got to make him the guy. I think you've invested a whole heck of a lot into that kid. So
Oh,
you
well,
you
he's going to get every opportunity this year, but if he falters again, that could be it for him. But being that it's a make or break year for him, let's give him some more help. Let's get some more help. Let's go tight end.
Holton,
Kid Loveland, kid from Michigan.
yeah,
Here he's
I like
rising up
that.
boards. Um, you know, more of your prototypical size tight end. Um, and they're lacking there. I mean, their depth chart is pretty thin right now. So let's go tight end.
Yeah, 56 receptions, 582 yards, 5 TDs last year in 10 games. He's a good kid, comes from a great program, and a big kid, and
Yeah,
be a great target for whoever is throwing him the ball. It should be Richardson though.
should be.
So
Hopefully.
Falcons, without a doubt, I think you take the. I think they can go corner here, but I think Shamar Stewart, arguably to me, is the best player available on the board. So I have the Falcons going Shamar Stewart, big edge rusher, and comes off the ball, very quick get off, you know, violent hands. I like it. I think I think he fits right into that defense, and you're not also obviously like quarterback crazy. You know what I mean in the NFC South, right? I mean, you got good dudes out there. You got Baker. Penix is probably going to come back. Let's see what he does in the sophomore year with a full season in front of him. So I think you're getting quarterbacks. You know what I mean, that are starting to. Obviously, you don't have anything in the Saints right now. You have Shamar, or you have Shador, right? That just got drafted. So we'll see what that looks like. But I think
Yeah.
you get yourself an edge rusher, and and come off the ball, and you got a dude that's going to fit right in and maybe an impact player. So I like Shamar there.
Yeah, and I don't know if he'll last that long in the draft, in the real draft, but in this scenario, it's definitely a home run pick for Atlanta,
Yeah,
especially after they lost their top pass rusher through free agency. Um, so a good pick. All right, Arizona Cardinals on the clock, and there's one kid that's been moving up draft boards. I'm hearing Michael Williams out of Georgia, uh,
yeah.
pass rusher. I think this Cardinals defense could use a little bit of push on that D line, get some pressure on the quarterback. Um, so I'm going Michael Williams out of Georgia for the Arizona Cardinals.
I think that's a good pick. That's a good pick. I mean, Williams. Yeah, I've been hearing he's been coming up the boards. I
Yeah,
haven't got a chance to watch his tape yet, and we'll probably be doing that
good
roughly here
length.
within the next 24 hours. But I've heard nothing but good things about him, so definitely looking forward to watching a little bit more of his tape. Will Johnson's still on the board, and I think that looks good for that looks good, right? Let's take the best player available, but I think we already
Yeah,
know like where these guys are going to go, and
I think they're definitely going defense.
I think so too. I mean, I was thinking, yeah, you got to protect Joe a little bit more, but
I mean, they just invested, millions of dollars in their offensive trio of quarterback and receiver. So
yeah. So I think the kid out of Marshall, they got to go edge rush. They just lost both of their DNs, right? So I think you got to go with. I think Mike Green, the kid out of Marshall,
ooh, I thought you were going to go the
is
D tackle Harmon.
no, no, you're as much as that makes sense, you know what I mean. But again, like I said before, right? What are the three things you got to do? You got to have a quarterback, you got to be able to protect the quarterback, and you got to be able to go get the quarterback. So Mike Green helps them go get the quarterback, and especially may not be in the division, but when you still got to chase Patrick Mahomes around, you got to chase Josh Allen around, and Lamar Jackson. You got pretty much all of the premier quarterbacks, if you will, in the AFC. You got to have somebody that can go get the quarterback. Like, I think is Derek Harmon a good dude, but he's probably more on the run stuffing part of it. And again, if you can't get the quarterback, that's fine. But when you got somebody like the Chiefs that throw 50 times a game, you got to be able to go get somebody. Seahawks.
Yeah. Um, Seattle Seahawks. Quite a bit of holes in this team, and I'm thinking that their offensive line uh, is not. I think they use some help on the line. Um, let's go to the offense board on the board. Let's look at the tackles.
You want to see
Or
the
let's go
tackles?
guard. I think they need more interior lineman help. And
Team needs offensive guard, O tackle, wide receiver, quarterback, and edge. I got a surprise for you where I think they would go personally.
go to the guard.
You
I
have
think
a
we're gonna
guard
go
at.
guard here. Gary Zebel.
Okay, what do we like about Gary? Gray Zebel.
Versatile guard, could play center or guard position, and I think that the Seattle Seahawks didn't do much to address their offensive line. Um, Lost some players for due free agency. I think that I've been hearing good things about Zebel, rising up the board, one of the top guards in the draft. Yeah, let's go with that.
Well, he played tackle too as well, right? He played some tackle. I think he was a tackle.
I think he played both.
Yeah, but he's got that offensive lineman look too, so I can see that happening for him.
Who's on the board?
Buccaneers on the clock. Buccaneers on the clock. I think it's very simple. Best player available, you go Will Johnson. Um,
I don't think he would slip that far. You know, I thought about taking him with Seattle, but they took Witherspoon a few years ago. But in reality, well, there's no way
yeah,
Will Johnson
I
slips down to 19.
oh, I could easily see that. Why not? I think it's based off team needs,
You think he would
and
fall
it's
that? You
not
think he
somebody
would
want to
slide to
put him on.
19?
I 100% think he can. Absolutely, I 100% think he can.
Mm, that'd be a quality
But
value for whoever
but
gets him.
lengthy corner, right? Lengthy corner out of Michigan.
Yeah,
Shut a shutdown dude. He's gonna. I think he's gonna line up against. I don't think you're gonna line him up against your ones right away, but I think he's gonna be a dude that's gonna be an impact player right away. I think with that Buck secondary already, I think that helps them a little bit more. Obviously with Will Johnson, and I think he can come in and be an impact player and make some plays right away, especially when you're in a division already that again it's quarterback. It's not, you know, you're not looking at like the AFC West or even the AFC North. You know what I mean? Where you got these like just quarterbacks that are just it's quarterback heavy and defense, right? But yeah,
yeah.
I like Will Johnson there. What do you Denver on the clock? Where do you see them going here?
Denver. I'm tempted to go defense. Um, you got the kid Grant out of Michigan, uh, but I wanna focus on the opposite side of the ball. Um, let's give this kid the weapons in the backfield. I don't know if they have their guy identified in that running back room, so I believe Omarion Hampton can be a three down back in the league, and I think that you get him in that offense with Sean Payton. This kid will be thriving in that red zone. So I'm taking Hampton out of North Carolina.
Broncos taking Hampton. I like it. I think I don't think they would have been wrong whether they went there or even if the Broncos go wide receiver there either. Maybe a Burton out of Missouri, but I think you're not you can't go wrong. I think you know what I mean. I think if you went wide receiver, you might be able to come back on a day two and get one of those running backs out of Ohio State.
That's
There's a
very
lot of
very good point.
a lot of good running backs still late. You can do now. Here's with the Steelers on the pick right now. What did we talk about earlier? Why was this man invited to the draft?
That'd be Milroy, huh?
I
Your
think
boy
they
from
can.
Alabama.
I think they can take a Jalen Milrow right here, and I like it for Mike Tomlin. I think that's a
They don't
guy.
have a second round pick, so if they're going quarterback, they got to be aggressive now.
Yeah, and I think if that's your dude, he's an athletic kid. You know what I mean? I think you got to work with him obviously a little bit, but they think that he can show flashes of a very Lamarish type of way. He's obviously, I mean, look, I'll tell you what, his player prop last year on rushing yards was gold. So, but he's a kid that's going to run the ball, and
Look,
He's that big arm. You know, he's got a big
he's
arm.
a project for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ready to start right now in the NFL. I don't think he's ready to, you know, to pick apart an NFL defense. I don't know if he has the accuracy right now. Um, yeah, it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time, but I think the Steelers are definitely in the market, and I'm not mad at it. He's there for a reason, right?
Yeah. And I really think that they give him, he gives them Big Ben vibes, right? The big quarterback, hard to tackle,
Mm,
you know, mobile, big arm.
I think ideally the vision would be, can you get to Jalen Hurts esque, right?
Well, in Steeler country, it's Big Ben, so they're going to want to see, can we get us a Big Ben that won us two Super Bowls, because we'll gladly take that.
He's not quite
But
as big as Big Ben. Come on now.
he's a big kid. I mean, I mean,
He's
there's a
got good
reason why
size for sure.
Ben was called Big Ben. He's enormous. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
but
He was six
moving,
five, right?
yeah, Milrose. I mean, he's not that far off.
I think
Um,
you're being generous. But nonetheless, let's move on to LA, those lightning bolts and Jim Harbaugh.
yeah, he's not. You're right. He's not that big. He's 6'2", 217, probably 220 on the list. But I have something crazy that can happen here with the Chargers. I got something real crazy that can happen here.
When I look at them, I'm thinking, they just lost one of their DNs, and Joey Bosa. So I think they try to bolster that D line. Harbaugh does like his fresh bodies on that D line. This kid is performed well at the combine. Has some off-field issues, but the talent is there. I think this kid could be a nice pass rusher in the future. Right now, probably play on passing downs. Give me James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. Who are you thinking?
I got I got something crazy. I'm gonna put James Pierce up there, but I actually have a trade. So I came across part of this information, and I I think, watching the take on it, I could see it happening. It's ludicrous, but I also think, why not? So the trade I
Right.
got is with the Chargers and Minnesota. Minnesota is trading for Justin Herbert. They are going to and they're going to get Justin Herbert. They're going to get the Chargers one, and also, let's say maybe they give them a two, and in
Folks, I don't know
return
about this one. I don't know about this
in
one, folks.
return, the Chargers are going to get JJ McCarthy, reunite with his Michigan coach.
That's a good lifetime movie. I could see it now, but I don't quite think that happens in the draft. I don't know. You're telling me that Harbaugh's not sold on Herbert?
Did he draft him?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
So
not.
from a coach's standpoint, from a coach's point of like, look, yes, you're a good dude. You know what I mean? And he's Herbert's a talented quarterback. We all know that. There's no question there. But you're also not my dude. Like, I didn't draft you
I
into
mean,
my
look, they went to
team.
the playoffs last year.
100%. I take nothing away from it. I think that's a lot of coaching for sure, and him taking the talent
But
around. But
I mean, that's a
that
good building
that
block.
trade is that trade is not far fetched. Obviously, I'm not on that pick, but that's something I would entertain if I was. Because here's the deal: now in Minnesota, Kevin O'Connell's got his
Well,
quarterback,
yeah, I think
and
Minnesota, I
if
don't
I'm
know
Justin
how
Herbert,
excited they are about
if
rolling with JJ McCarthy right now.
if I'm Justin Herbert, am I mad at the fact that I get to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson and Addison on top of T.J. Hawkinson? Like, you
No,
get me
but
a running back and later in the draft.
absolutely not. But I'll say this: if that did happen, Harbaugh did, pull that trigger on that trade, and McCarthy did not pan out, Whew, I'd
Right.
be into that.
No, 100%. But at the same point in time, he's also getting a player that he knows he recruited out of high
Well,
school.
I get all that.
You know
I
what I
get
mean?
all
So
that.
like he knows what to get out of that player. Again, like I've said it before, man, from a coaching standpoint and an aspect of I know this player, I know how to get the best out of him. I know he fits into my scheme. I know it's
No,
I'm
I
not
get all
asking a
that. But
lot.
keep in
I'm not
mind,
asking a lot out of him.
this is still his rookie year coming up. So,
True,
I
it
mean,
is his rookie year, and
your
they could
Charger team that's
blindside
coming
him.
off a playoff berth, you're trying to progress, not regress.
That's
And
very true. But they could blindside him. And again, we haven't seen it yet. But look, what's the path, right? The irony of the Green Bay path. You go from the Packers, you go to the Jets. Where's the next landing spot? Minnesota. It's very possible that they could entertain an Aaron Rodgers late. Hey, we need you to bridge JJ McCarthy along. Perfect.
ooh, yeah, I think you're kind of grasping at straws on that one.
No, I mean, look. First of all,
Look, I was
draft day's
entertaining
close.
it. I
Draft
was
day's
entertaining
crazy.
it till you threw out Aaron Rodgers, and
First of all, draft day, you're gonna have some crazy things happen that nobody expects.
sure.
So it you can't just keep going line by line by line. That's just not gonna happen. That's not realistic, as we both know. So I'm saying, like, why would you not throw something out crazy to where that it does make sense? Like Minnesota gets the quarterback they want. They get they're going to give up maybe a few more picks. Great, I'll give you two more picks on top of my first round if it means I get my franchise quarterback right away. Because I just shipped what I thought, what what people thought was my franchise quarterback, and let him go
Well,
up to
look,
Seattle.
I'm not in the Justin Herbert camp. As a Raider fan, I watch Raider Charger games 2 times a year, obviously. And I've always felt like he's a glamorized Derek Carr. Um,
You keep bringing
I-
up that name of Derek Carr. Is there a poster of
no,
Derek
first of
Carr
all, I
behind me?
said David Carr earlier, and then I
Oh,
said
David
Derek
Carr.
Carr right now.
They're not far
There's
off
two
from
of
each
them.
other.
Don't forget.
Yeah, they'll both be holding microphones in a year.
Very true. Very true. But I've never been impressed with Herbert. He's good enough, but he's not that guy who's just gonna beat the best in the league. And um, nonetheless, I don't think that trade happens. But I like where your head's at.
It's
I
a
like what you're
reach.
thinking.
Green Bay's up on the clock next. Where are they going?
I took Pierce for the Chargers. What are you liking?
I mean, honestly, oh, so that's right. I'm sorry. Green Bay is up on the clock. It is on me. Um, I think personally, yeah. I mean, I feel like they got to protect this kid too. Like I just, but ooh, I mean, again, like I've said, I'm sticking to the three things. You got to be able to go get the quarterback, and I I like the edge rush right here, Donovan. I for the life of me can't
Izaraku
say his last name. There you go. Let's clap that
out of
one. I
Boston
need the little
College.
bouncing. I need the bouncing ball over his last name. Yeah, I think Donovan Izaraku is a pick that they're going to go there. Like I said, I stick to the guns of protect the quarterback, have a quarterback, be able to go get the quarterback.
Okay, not mad at
Minnesota, still an opportunity to trade. An
that.
opportunity to
Well,
trade,
though they
possibly
have
for Justin Herbert.
though they have question marks in that quarterback room, they also have question marks in that defensive secondary,
Very
uh,
true.
which has been lit up um, for the past year now. I think they would love to see one of those top corners fall to them. Obviously, Will Johnson did not make it, but I think as a consolation prize, one of the top safeties and probably the top safety, and Malachi Starks would be a
Yeah.
good get for them.
Last time they drafted a big safety there, he panned out pretty well.
There you go.
So I like Starks there as well. Texas on the board. I think they go right in their backyard. You got Stephon Diggs gone. Tank Dell is injured. You know what I mean? You don't know what you're getting back from
He's
that.
potentially gone as well.
And I think Golden's going to be the guy. I think you stick right in your backyard. He's a hometown kid in regards to played at Texas. Um, Obviously, you don't got to move far, right?
Now, look, he is
But
kind of a one-trick pony, but I think they need that in their offense. They need some downfield threats opposite Nico Collins. Um, I'm not mad at it.
yeah, I think so. Where do the Rams go here?
Ooh, LA Rams.
Got another crazy trade for you too.
Well, they didn't trade Stafford, so that's not happening. There's a couple ways they can go here.
Yeah, very
They
true.
can definitely work on that offensive line to provide more help for Stafford. Um, Also, they could look to add some help in the secondary. Hmm, what I like here for them. Their D line is massive right now. Although I like Derek Harmon on the board right now, but not for
Well,
the
they're
Rams.
young at defense. That defense is young and
Yeah,
nothing but rising up.
but I'm thinking they
Clock is
just
ticking.
they just
Rams.
extended Stafford, so get him some more help. Get him someone on that line. Um, the tackle out of or tackle guard out of Oregon, Connerly.
Josh Conley Jr.
Let's go with that for the Rams.
Ravens on the clock, and I think they're going to have to go into the secondary. I think they're just going to see what's the best available, and um, I I can see them easily going with the safety here as well. But I can also see them
Yeah.
tightening up at linebacker, and so I know they love them some kids from Alabama, Georgia. They love them SEC kids for sure.
Oh yeah.
So I like Jahid Campbell. And I don't know if I said that right. I might have butchered that. But
Close enough.
I think that he gives them a little bit more depth. You know what I mean? Especially with, um, you know, Jesus. Why am I losing his name? Is it? Am I missing his name? Rokon Smith here. Like,
You got
like
it.
yeah. I'm like just drawing a blank. I'm like, gosh, I just watched a tape on him with Ray Lewis. But I think giving them more help. D- Defense for Baltimore. They find players late. Offensively, as well. So I think they're going to be okay there. And I think he comes in and I think he's a day one starter. So I mean, he comes in and gives them a good fit. And what do they love in the AFC North? Defense. Lions at 28.
Absolutely. Mm. Lions. I've been hearing some trade talk out of Detroit as well. Um, Possibly putting Jameson Williams on the trade block. Is that a possibility?
I mean, I wouldn't, but it's possible. But I mean, I wouldn't.
Well, there's been some whispers that I don't know if that's real or not. Could this be noise? Um, but for now, we'll keep him on there as a replacement. This kid is ready to be a starter day one in the NFL. You match him with a solid number one in your offense. This kid can take off. Great route runner, great hands. But I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna go there. I don't know if we're gonna go there.
Are we gonna get a name, or are we playing charades?
Instead, well, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? If they did trade Jameson Williams,
If they trade, well, are they trading back, or who are they trading to?
I don't know who is interested, man. I'm just saying this is some
Well then,
whispers that
we don't have a trade. I mean,
I
if I'm
sat
Detroit,
I sat there and listened to your whole rant about Justin Herbert getting traded.
I gave you a
However, if you don't
team
want
for
to,
him to get traded to. Like,
all right, give me Derek Harmon, man.
yeah, I think that makes the most sense right there. Why would you not keep building that defensive line? Keep get. I mean, shit. I mean, you got nothing but offense coming out of the NFC North. Like, they took three teams into the, three teams in the playoffs, and you got the Bears that are starting to sneak up on people. Yeah, build that defense. So I'll tell you where the trade's coming. The trade's coming right here. So Washington, they're out of here. Okay, this is where this is going. We're going to trade Washington, and we are coming right back into this here. Uh, and give me 1 second here. We're doing this. So we're going to propose a trade. Washington, and I see Cleveland coming right back in, and they are going to give up their 29th. And in return, they are going to give up. I mean, 33 is not that much of a difference. So I think they end up giving a. I think they're going to give a third. And why not give your sixth while you're at it?
I don't know what we're doing here, man. You still with me? Hmm. We're having technical difficulties. Well, that looks like a wrap, folks. Um, I don't think he's coming back.
One moment, folks. We're going to pause for 1 second.